Hey guys, how you doing? It is good to see everyone, hear everyone. I was talking to myself there for a while, so I feel pretty funny here. Hey Gabe, how you doing, bud?
Hey,
I think it's going well.
I think I'm okay.
Good, good. Let me turn down this music here. We got some jams kind of going on here, jamming away. So been having some little big issues here with the weather a bit and blowing around and doing its own thing and messing with my internet. How dare it mess with my internet, right? How dare Mother Nature get involved and mess with my internet? You know, I can kind of try to tell it what to do, but I don't know why, but Mother Nature doesn't want to listen to me at times, so go figure, right?
Maybe you're not that important as you think you are.
What are you talking about? I'm not as important. What?
As you think you are. Even doesn't listen to you.
It's funny. Sometimes I find it very comical, right? How some people are flabbergasted and how they think that they can like weather the storms. Oh, sorry about that. We have feedback here. There we go. Alrighty then. Let's see if we can get this going. Let's see if this is gonna work this time. Yay! Woohoo! I have issues here. And we'll see what happens. Oh man, it's getting a little frustrated trying to work through all this and trying to get all this going here. So we'll see what happens. Alrighty, so today's show really unique. We got a lot of things kind of going on here with it. I think one of the biggest things is really just kind of the market is moving up. It's been really actually interesting to sit here and see, also as I trade, to see what's actually happening, right? So I saw BNB, right? So I kind of follow the three here to see kind of what's going on, and I saw BNB as well as Ethereum, well, first of all, Ethereum was really struggling to really push through the next point. And then in addition to that, we're definitely seeing more seller works coming. And I apologize for all the people who are, I haven't been doing my quick 20-minute recaps of the morning recap in the lounge as well as in the Moonrock. Apologize about that for you guys. It's just been kind of a couple crazy mornings for me. And so it's just been a little bit difficult for me to kind of get into it. Plus also trade and do what I do. the same time. So it's been a bit unique. But I say that because I was looking at Bitcoin here, and so Bitcoin was definitely rallying this morning. Like it definitely been moving up and definitely making its moves in regards to what we're seeing. Like the market is definitely wanting to push up, right? But we came into an area of supply. This area of supply was one of the daily zones that I was talking about. On top of that, we also hit that 50 period moving average. So I thought that this was going to actually come and hit the actual zone. And then as I was looking at Bitcoin, and then I wanted to switch to the S&P 500, but yet the S&P 500 was still showing strength and also buyers wanting to push the market up. So it's going to be really interesting to see if S&P 500 actually pushes Bitcoin around now here. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Or will Bitcoin turn the S&P 500 around here? So it's going to be something really interesting when we get into the TA. But
I saw somewhere that Bitcoin and Tether will be in Switzerland.
Tether?
Yeah.
Say that again? I missed that.
Also, wait a second. Let me check. Someone just posted about this.
I heard, I missed what you said. Okay, what'd you say, bud?
Tether joins hands with a Switzerland city to transform it into Europe. Something.
Really? Tether? That's impressive. Wow. So they're really going to start to even help with the Switzerland country or province. It's Switzerland at large.
To transform it into Europe's Bitcoin capital. You have a link in the chat.
Oh, definitely, man. We're gonna let's talk about that. I also want to talk about real quick the Tron. Oh, there we go.
And at McDonald's, they are supposedly accepting crypto now.
Yeah. Yep.
So just remember, like a year or two ago, they were banning crypto supposedly everywhere, right?
Yep.
In China, in Russia, everyone. It was this agenda. Go away from the Bitcoin, right? Go away from the crypto. And now suddenly they are accepting in the same countries, the same crypto. They are accepting.
Well, 2 years ago, you didn't have this going on. I mean, like this right here.
But as a countries, they have plans, right? They know exactly what will happen because they have plan and they stick to it.
It's true. It's interesting. I mean, you have the dollar now skyrocketing, just skyrocketing. I mean, it's hitting new highs. Now, obviously, we've had a bit of a sell off into our areas that we thought we were going to come down into. Like I personally think it's going to come down into here. We're going to find out what happens with that weekly period moving average. Are we going to push through it, or are we going to keep bouncing off of what we've been seeing? Right, like we've been following the 8 period moving average now for a while. Right, it's a strong trend on this dollar for this weekly. So we'll find out. But one of the biggest issues, right, especially in Europe, is a strong dollar and converse with all the other currencies going down, right? So it behooves them to sit there and go, we're getting killed over here. And the only real stable stuff is cryptocurrency when it comes to the actual dollar, right? It's like you can sit there and peg it and it won't fluctuate because it's how it's built. So
yeah, every stable is dollar.
Yeah.
Every stable cryptocurrency, right, is 1-to-1 to dollar.
But is it a 1-to-1 to the dollar, or is it 1-to-1 to itself?
Well, supposedly to the dollar.
Well, no, I get it. So what happens if the dollar destabilizes? then
I don't know.
eh, right. This is what I'm trying to say.
Right, tanks, right?
Right. So I sit there and go, if it does destabilize, which I don't think it will, but if it was to, and something was to happen, and let's say that the world no longer wants to make the petrodollar the world's fiat to exchange goods and services because they can't actually trade because they can't buy as much with their own currency, right? All of a sudden, it changes everything. So I say that right now, it's really like we really think about this. If they were to say we're done dealing with the dollar, right? We're going to go into crypto. It then becomes, right now it's pegged to the dollar only because that's really what the world wants to use. But the reality is if the world decides it wants to flip on itself and say, we're done, we can't buy goods and services, and then they create some alternative, let's say, blockchain to do goods and services, maybe Tether, right? The whole entire ecosystem, it changes everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. That I guess I should explain that. Sometimes I have all this in here, and it's like there's a disconnect between here and here. It's like beep, 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 beep. So it's interesting. But who knows? We'll see what happens. I think that's real interesting. And we talk about. Did you read through the article?
No, I just someone posted it in the chat.
I love that. The latest development
About
draws parallel to El Salvador landmark decision to make Bitcoin-led legal tender last year. As per the official statement, Tether is looking forward to revealing the financial sectors in the city by transforming its economy system through the blockchain technology. It is not specified what the stablecoin firm plans to do, but it is slated to release more details on March 3rd. In addition to that, this is I was gonna
March 3rd, so 33, right?
yeah, March 3rd is that 23 coming out then? November is announced launching its native blockchain. Oh, this is this is February. I was thinking, I thought I had heard this, and then
This is old one.
yeah, I thought that, but I was like, maybe they're doing something else. All right, yeah, I already knew about this. All right,
Maybe,
but
so maybe
what I
it's not, something different. No, because he
uh,
posted it today, so maybe
yeah, that's okay.
it announced something different
Well,
too.
and additionally to that, just so you know, we also see, and this is actually what, not Kim Kardashian, Mastercard is now making. They have a whole entire crypto system, and they're going to be setting things up and making it really easier for blockchains as well as to take money off and money on to different blockchains, as well as going through and setting up systems for people to be able to either put their crypto on a card, right, and be able to spend it almost as cash, right? So that's going to be really interesting to see what happens with that, right?
Yeah.
Is Mastercard really trying to, like, because I mean Visa is obviously one of the most dominant pairings, right? Like they're who the that's who runs the the credit game right now, right? Especially credit card game. You want to make sure it's Visa, then Mastercard, right? But if Mastercard is playing, are they making their play to be the dominant one in crypto, right? Like, are they going to be the one? Because if they do, I can see the rest of crypto just saying, okay, it's MasterCard then. And then all of a sudden blockchains start using them to bring on and take off. Like imagine being able to call up MasterCard and saying, hey, we know you have high fees. Give us a discount, right? Or whatever it is, right? Or maybe not. Maybe they won't. And, we all know that crypto, especially when it comes to just degens, like they'll just jump right into something, right? And it's a done deal. You know what I'm saying? Like it's, they'll pay in hopes to get, 50 to 100, maybe 200x, right? So
Isn't the Binance card Visa?
say that again.
Isn't the Binance card Visa?
isn't it the Binance card Visa? Is what you're saying?
Yeah,
I don't. I
Binance
actually
have their card, right? You can use it as a normal credit card. I think it is Visa.
I do not know. I do not know. I actually need to check that out. I didn't think so, but it could be. I don't know. Now I feel silly for even bringing that up.
Do you remember what I told you a few days ago about, you know, allowing to all this scam happening, and then
Uh,
they will come and save the day, right?
yeah, yeah. Well, it's always how
Moving
it is, man.
similar moves.
But the thing
Safer to
is
buy crypto, yeah.
it is.
That's- all this agenda is just pushing to discard the money, uh, start using the central bank currency, cryptocurrencies, and it's over. If you will not have money, physical money,
Uh-huh.
it's over. Because if they will own everything with credit cards to use cryptocurrency, they will ban physical money because was that's what was the agenda, right? Don't
Uh-huh.
use money because viruses are on the money. Money is dangerous. Don't touch it, right? They were pushing this for 2 years right now. Now they are doing, safer crypto. Come to us, guys. Come to us. We will make it safer.
You
All the
know,
time, all the
but
time.
the thing is I look at it like this, man. They were late to the game. You know what I'm saying? And now they're trying to put in a new floor. They were definitely trying just to push the market down, right? I mean, all the negative news. I mean, Warren Buffett straight came out and said, "I would never ever touch crypto." Yet the man goes through and buys one of the biggest, puts one of the biggest staking, put one of he's one of the biggest stakers on, I forget what the company is called, man. I always forget the name. But the short of it is this: is their primary holding is trying to get crypto. Like the gaming system wants to now start offering Bitcoin as in-game use, right? That you can earn Bitcoin, and so they want to them for them to get Bitcoin, they got to go and buy it on the open market. So why not get one of their biggest stakeholders to really poo-poo, the very thing that they need. So it's just something I find it so interesting to sit there and see that. And I mean, who knows? Warren Buffett may truly hate, another asset, but I mean, I know that he's big into trading like currencies. Like I know he has a whole entire division department, and he's got a lot of stuff going on. So it's very interesting to sit there and see um, how the big dogs are now coming trying to save the day because I mean straight up Bitcoin diamond handlers, man, they're just like, we're gonna hold, dude. Like we've been through this twice now. We're ahead, X amount, right? Like at least, especially the people who bought Bitcoin back in the early
Mm.
days. When it was $100, $200. People are sitting there just being like, this makes sense, right? Like it makes complete sense to be able just to buy this and be like, okay, you know, it's just real simple. It's real interesting to see this and the developments that have happened with it. So that's really cool. I don't know. We'll see what happens. In other news, Kim Kardashian. Now this is old news as well, but I wanted to bring this up because I know that she's been talking. She had been talking. She came into the head news for her backing. I think it was MaxiCoin or something like that, where she got in trouble basically for supporting this coin, and she got paid $250,000. Right now, in the back of my
So like
head,
a day of her work, right?
huh?
So
Yeah,
like a day of her work.
basically, yeah. It's basically a good point. Like a day for her to make money. Yeah, it's basically what she makes. I mean, she's literally a multi-billionaire, like legitly a multi-billionaire, and with her makeup line and her sister's makeup line, that family's worth maybe $4-5 billion easily. I know with even though Mr. West isn't necessarily or Kanye West isn't necessarily like it's still in that family per se, but those kids, mom's worth billions, dad's worth billions. I mean, they're a juggernaut of a family now. I mean, they are, and they're there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they're in the upper echelon. I mean, they're no longer really the trying to make it. Kim Kardashian's sex video there. She's no upstart. You know what I'm saying? She's not. She's a boss, and it's interesting to sit there to see a lot of I'm in my 40s, but I see a lot of the kids still wearing the skinny pants, right, and the really big shirts that Kanye West really just pushed, right. And so to sit there now to see these guys are juggernauts. So she's actually starting this new, or it's not a new, it's been out for about a month, but it's been really interesting to see, is she going to get into crypto? Right? Is she going to start creating her own system and her own metaverse? Like I could see. I mean,
China is investing $500 billion, if I am correct, into creating metaverse. So doesn't matter what they will do. Basically, unless you have trillions of dollars, you cannot defeat China at metaverse.
Well, 500 billion.
That's with fame, or something.
Well, and I know that they're spending trillions. I mean, $3 trillion a year just on AI development.
Yeah, like but Putin said 5 or 10 years ago that the next world war, will win the one with the most developed, high-end, most advanced AI.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It is.
And in 1998, one of Russian generals said that those who have the best weapons as a mind control method, they will win. So they will combine basically.
I almost want to put this idea in that we're not necessarily seeing a change. I mean, we're still in the Cold War in a sense, right? It's just changing. Or I feel like things are changing in the world of for example, right? Some of our pesticides literally drop our testosterone and literally make men lose their drive for success.
Yeah, there was testing that already men in their 20s have testosterone of 60-year-olds or something like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of the stuff that a lot of kids in today's world are losing testosterone. Or not in the world. No, not in the world, but in particular America. In particular.
Because they are using these chemicals and artificial hormones to lower the testosterone. Because if you will think about it as a survival of the species, eat or be eaten, basically. So if you think about other men, let's say you are, one of the richest family, right? The man is the basically main driving force, right? The man. I don't want to bring down woman, but it's the man who goes to war, right? It's not you can't win war with only woman, basically, right? It's the man who he is driving, he's driving, and he wants to develop. He wants to find out, invent. The most scientists on the earth are men, right? That just is. Our brains are created differently. We are not equal, and we won't be equal. That's good. That's a good, because we are,
I want to say equal. I don't think equal is the word, right? It's just different, right? We have a different.
Yeah. We are fulfilling each other. That's my idea.
We complement each other. The male brain and
exactly.
the female.
Yeah. Exactly.
book written by Luann Brazine. And I think I'm saying Luann Brazine, called The Female Brain and the Male Brain. And she does some major research regarding the male brain and the female brain and contrasts them. I remember reading this in my, I think it was late 20s, in my late 20s. So I know she's probably done a lot more stuff with it. But they've done some major research in regards, I mean, especially in neuroscience, where they just see the
Yeah.
differences, and
Why
it really,
why
they
do you
complement
think
each other so well. Like
exactly? Why do you think most of commercials are directed at women? Because according to statistics, 80% of spend from the household is done by women. They know exactly what they are doing because they have specialists, neuroscientists that know exactly what button to push, in the brain, right? So what I'm saying is, when you think about, eat or be eaten, it's like men want to conquer, woman likes security. That's different,
yeah,
right? So if you don't want competition, basically, because other men are your competition in this worldview, right?
yeah,
Everyone is your competition. If you don't want your competition to even be allowed, to conquer you, you have to destroy them ahead of time, right? Before they even try. So that would make sense why they want to bring down the testosterone, which is responsible for drive in men, right? Because they are literally lowering the drive in their competition.
and I
And the
want to put it like
competition is
this.
for the
Also,
resources, right?
yes. I want to add this with that. I mean, and the drive, like I don't know if the drive is this, right? I want to talk about the actual word drive. What you mean by that? The drive is that tenacity to put your head down and to grind something out. It's like doing, like you're at 7, it's like you're bench pressing something, or you're doing squats, or you're doing something, right? And that drive to push out on another 5 or another 8 or another 10, right? That tenacity, that
Just sacrifice
aggression.
the unnecessary for
Yeah,
what you want to achieve.
yeah. It
Achievement.
is that drive, yeah, that grind, that I don't know the right word to use, except it's what pushes you to go further.
Yeah.
And if you pull that away from a society, then like you said, it weakens that society at large, and
It
really,
weakens. It
yeah,
weakens your competition.
it
Just
weakens
look
the
at yeah.
competition.
Just look
Yeah,
at the basic resource, competition. It weakens. They are fighting with their competition. That's it.
yeah, yeah.
And
It's brilliant.
it makes absolutely sense for them, right? For you, it might not make sense because why would you do it, right?
Right,
But if you are thinking differently, that you are thinking about others only as a competition to resources, not that you can, like live together and like share it, yeah. For you, it doesn't make sense. But if the most, and the most like rich people in the world also has to be the most competitive. So they are raised basically to think about others as a competition to resources.
yeah. I can see, yeah, like straight up, like it is all about resources, right? And that ability of passing your resources down to your children, to your posterity, in a sense, to allow them to then grow and increase those resources. Right now, right now as we speak, there's the only true resource I think today, besides computer goods, right? Like any type of anything that would help produce and create a more efficient computer, is intellectual capital, right? Like that. I think those two resources,
Yeah,
human
technology.
technology,
Exactly.
and the deepest and greatest resource out of that is the human brain. And the strongest and most
Yeah.
efficient
They
part
want to
of.
drain it. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about this. And the thing that drives, keyword drives, innovation and push is testosterone. Like
Exactly.
if you pull testosterone away from a male's brain, right, many
He's
times,
starting to act more as a female. Exactly.
I wouldn't even say more as a female. He because
Like
I mean,
less as a male. Oh, that's what I mean.
let's
Less
let's
as a
let's
male.
let's use. I would say let's use two different type of words. I think we could use um like a feminine energy, right,
Yeah,
and
yeah, that's what
masculine
I
energy.
mean. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
meant. Yeah,
let's
effeminate.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's I know where you're headed. I know, but we wanna use those because that the feminine energy and the masculine energy, that masculine energy really has that drive and that grind, and the warrior, that warrior, whether it's Xena princess warrior or whatever you
Mm.
want to call it, but it is, or the guy who comes and saves the day, right? And that grind, or that girl who comes and saves the day. It is a reality that in America, I don't see I see aggressive drivers on the street, but somebody to sit there and say, "Hey, we're going to push this forward." I feel like we see less and less of. I feel like I see less and less of that from my generation to this generation. When I ask them, "What do you want to be?" Like when I was growing up, people said, "I want to be a businessman. I was always businessman, and I want to be, this titan or that type of, that was how
And
we thought."
by the way, look at the movies at that time. All were, most of them were businessmen, right?
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
look at the
yeah,
movies.
absolutely, absolutely. Now I feel like when I talk to this generation, it's more like, I really don't know. I mean, I like to get a job and provide and just kind of,
Exactly, that's exactly what corporations want because
yeah,
they don't want their specialists. Well, let me reword this.
they would want a generalist
They
versus a
want
specialist.
no. They want specialists, experts in their
Okay,
field, but they don't want them to earn enough, so they don't have to work in those corporations
okay,
because they want workers. The only like idea, main idea of a corporation and as any entity is to survive. To survive, they need specialists, right, and experts. So if they will give enough money to specialists and experts that they can retire early, they are losing workers.
yeah,
So they don't want that, right? Because they are losing workers, they are less competitive.
right,
So they also don't want that. So they want to achieve the state when people, I think, will lose the ability to, to become competition in the first place, like to go outside of their corporate system. Doesn't matter which corporate, right?
yeah.
It will be corporation at some point. Doesn't matter the name, right? But you will be in the end in the corporation. That's why they are pushing the inflation also, because it literally destroys your ability to retire early if you don't invest, if you don't know how money works. The, eh,
Well,
and what will happen if you don't have money? You have to work. So you come back where? Working. You become again a worker.
I think there's also more than, I mean, there's also, I think, real world issues going on, right? Like it's not just as simple as corporations really running everything. I mean, there's more to it than just that. I mean, I don't think there is this grand conspiracy to sit there. I think there is some type of real reality where I think other countries are trying to suppress, and mess with. Or maybe, and a lot of these companies, literally, they're American companies, right? They're American companies that That's
Yeah.
right. And
What I
so,
meant by corporations is basically like CIA and NSA, like a secret service, like a secret agency, right? These entities became so big that they cannot allow them, to just be in the country. They have to control them, basically. That's what I meant.
okay,
It's not only corporation that it's doing what it's bidding, right? What they want to do. I think the same. We could see this example in the like in the banks, right? Too big to fail. Basically, they bail out them, right? Bail them out. In Germany, uh, government gave to Lidl 1 billion euro to just for Lidl to just develop its shops in Poland. So basically, in Germany, government gave Lidl 1 billion euro to develop shops just in Poland.
oh wow,
So government is controlling this corporation, right? Because they know today's war is different than like 50, 60 years ago. Today's war
absolutely.
is done by money and
Money and
technology.
agenda and agenda.
Yeah,
But the thing is, it's whereas in the past, I think it was governments that were running stuff, right? I mean, people want to say it was like the Rothschilds and stuff like that. I don't know, like, but I think in today's world,
I think they are like this face, this talking head. They point at, they are doing as a person to point at. I think the true rulers we never met, we never saw them, we never heard about them, and probably no one ever found out their true names, etc. Right? Because they want to rule from the shadows.
yeah,
Why would they put themselves in the lights?
almost ruled by proxy through governments and
Yeah,
um,
exactly,
and
exactly.
slash corporations. Yes,
That's
maybe
exactly
not. I don't know. I
how the
can't. I mean, we
internet.
can't. I can't say yes or no to that because there is no real empirical evidence to sit there and say that this is how it is.
Yeah,
But
but
what I
we
can,
can assume it's happening like that. Yeah.
but what I can do, and I bring this up because when it comes to crypto and what we're seeing, it puts power back into the people's hands. So when we start to see these things progress within crypto, and we start to see things moving in conjunction with what
Oh,
we're
nothing.
what's up.
Nothing. Bitcoin is dumping.
Oh, it's not jumping that bad, but I mean, we're hitting a level. We hit a level. So we came up to the supply area here on the daily. And so right now it hit a 50 period moving average as well as supply area. So I talked about this yesterday. I said, if we do continue
Uh,
up, we'll see it come up into, I thought that because it was kind of up in here, the 50 period moving average. And then yesterday it fell below our zone. I thought we were going to come up into our zone. So and our things. I was talking about if we hit this junctional area right here and we see a sell off, we'll come down back and retest. But if we continue up, right, into the news, right, we're going to hit these moving averages here and hit our zone. So we'll see a type of sell off down in this area here.
mhm,
This is what I brought in. This is what I talked about yesterday. Part of the TA
mhm.
analysis. So yeah, we're not blindly turning around like there might news may come back out, right, of why
No, well,
Bitcoin turned around, right?
of
But
course,
what I
Bitcoin went down $10,000, in a
right,
minute, right?
yeah, like
That's
literally.
what I meant.
But
I just saw
but
a giant red candle, but we were on 5 minutes, so
yes, yeah,
that's why
yeah.
it looked like.
Good point. So that, but what I am paying attention to is the correlation between the S&P 500 and Bitcoin, right? Like that's really what I'm more keen to, right? Is Bitcoin going to cause the S&P 500 to sell off, right? This morning we did cross over $1 trillion again for the capitalization of crypto, right? I was like, yay, and then it just bloop, right, just dropped. and we put in like the peak of it hit and then it dropped, and I started cracking up because I was just like, I literally thought to myself, oh, I should probably go short Bitcoin right now. And then I started seeing in the seller wake step in and started sitting there going, oh yeah, they're massive. Here they are. There they go. There she goes again. Boom. No real buyer wicks coming up in this area, or seller wicks setting up for the sell off down into these areas here. But that's neither here nor there, and it's just 5 minutes, like you said, it's just a 5 minute sell off. It's not a big deal. It was a simple 200 point draw sell off here, just to get more because they were pushing it up, and so they need to bring sell. But there are no real buyers or sellers sitting in this area here, so it's got to come back down into this. I think it's going to come back down into these levels here. If we do see support step in then from these levels here, because again, this is still the 159 period moving average, right? So we're going to see if it does come up. Are we going to test that 8 period moving average and continue this down into this level, or are we going to see support step in? Like personally, I think we're going to come down, like I said, into these lower levels here to find more buyers. But if we don't, like we're going to at least see it come up and hit that 8 period moving average, or at least somewhat. So what it looks like it's starting to become under the influence of that 8 period, right? You can see that trying to come up, and now it's starting to sell off a little. Now the thing is here is, and this is what does somewhat encourage me, right? In the essence of Bitcoin moving up, is that we don't really have any seller wicks, like I've said, until we get up to here. We didn't fully touch this area here, but we are hitting that daily 50 period moving average. So we are definitely touching that. And it's where DeFi, our Chris on DeFi Skeptics, we did hit one of a major level that he did give me here. So off of Bitcoin. So it's something to be paying attention to. But overall, it's a market that's being there are markets that are being made right now based off of what is going on, right? So for them to sell off, they're going to need to buy up, right? And so are they selling this off for today to see it rally for into tomorrow and the next day, right? We don't know.
What do you think? Did you heard about betting on the price of Bitcoin in the next 5 minutes? You're not doing that.
It's not my, because here's the thing, that's not the way trading is done, right? Trading is done based on
Yeah,
probability.
that's a gambling. Yeah, I understand completely. Yeah.
And so for me,
I'm just asking if you did this.
no, I didn't. I mean, it just because that's not how I trade, right? Like I literally wait for trending moving averages, right? So I have areas, right? Like for example, right? This morning we're sitting here. Here we go, right? This is it. We started to trend on the right. We started to trend on the 15, right? We started coming up, pushed up 1, 2, 3, right? Then we had a little sell off, right? And then we go in, right? But here's the thing, I saw this and I said, oh, we're already starting to trend off that 8 on the 15. And then I go to the 5 and I wait for an entry, right? And so for me, I'm sitting there going, okay, where is my entry going to be? I want to sell off, right? So boom.
So basically, when these moving averages combine, it's a buying opportunity.
Yeah. So basically, I use these as a trending mechanism to lower my risk. So as I'm able to lower my risk, then I'm able then to get in. So I want to find a higher time frame moving average / area where there is buyer wicks that I can sit there and say, okay, I have a buyer wick right here. On top of that, I have a higher time frame SMA sitting right here. So for me and how I trade, that's what I look to do to capture a movement, right? If I feel like it's going to be moving up, right? We're putting in higher highs and higher lows here, right? Throughout the evening, boom, boom, boom. Yesterday, we put in higher highs and higher lows. It's moving up. So the market, as I tell everybody, if the market is moving up, go long. If you have a bias, remove your bias and go which way in the direction that the market is going. It is stupid. And go with big volume. That's why I always typically trade at the open of the S&P 500 because that's when we really see volume come into the market. That's when we see the markets open up and close, right? That's when the uh, London market is closing, and that's when we see the U.S. market start to go. It's almost like they hand it off to the U.S. and the U.S. takes it, right? They sell off their positions. If, let's say the market's going down, right? Boom, 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 into the London. So they're selling off their buy, or they're because if they're short, they need to buy back the market, right? And so boom, they come in, they buy back the market. You'll typically see a drop or a rally real quick, and then they'll flip it, and then they'll continue the opposite way in which London took it, right? And then that's why sometimes you'll see that the Asian market and the Australian market will drop it down a little because they're handing, there's like their buy and sell orders handing off to the opposite end of the country that's taking over the market, right? So then they come back and they take. That's why the market looks like this, because that's the psyche, right? And then you can see it being placed in the market. Shoot, something's going on with my charger. I'm gonna have to put myself on black here real quick and figure out putting a new charger. I always have a few chargers. You know how quickly they go. So, but that's the psyche of the market, and you can see them step in it based off the seller wicks. Look, if there are no buyer wicks, you can see here that there are no buyer wicks until we get down to here. We have some small buyer wicks, right? Well, look, we see seller wicks.
Empty green on the like flat bottom.
Yeah. Flat bottom. There's no
flat bottom green.
Yes. So boom, it's moving up. Now we're starting to see a sell off, right? Why? Because there was nothing to stop it until we got down to this area here. Well, wow, the price came right back down to this area where there would be buyers. And you can see that there are really no seller wicks up in this area. We actually see more buyer wicks, right? Buyer wicks, some seller wicks here, but not much. Nothing in contrast, right? Whereas something that looked like this, right? And so now we're seeing more buyer wicks. They're putting in their position to pull it higher. With Dolphos here. The man on the street is here. All right. When you get ready, come on and let me know. But you can see here now that the market, as it starts to find support, we see it now start to rally up. But what do we see? Now we see more seller wicks stepping in, right? So guess what?
Buyer wick. Two.
No. Well, there's two. 1, 2. That's it, right? So we're going to see some type of buyer step in at these levels. What came down at this level? These buyers were absorbed. It went up a little, right? Then it came back down to this area. The next area now, all this has been absorbed. This has been absorbed. So we should come back down to this area, right? This is typically the area. But also let us not forget that we have the 200 period moving average sitting right here. Where is this correlated with? Oh, snappity snaps. Down at our buyer area. Shocking, right? So, it's just, so if you're playing off of this, as a short, you want to be looking at this going, okay, always be paying attention to the higher time frame. Always be paying attention to where are you at, bud? To the higher time frame, what's going on. Its inception of the terminal was based off of that 50 period moving average and seller sitting here. Hey, Dolphin, for whatever reason, man, I can't hear you. I know I see you there. So if you want to come and just let me know, you just need it somehow. Device is not connected. So just giving you a heads up. So you can see that it's that 50 period moving average with the higher time frame demand zone or supply zone here. So you can sit there and play that right there. So you can see here that we're playing off of this, and that's what we're playing. So that's just how it is. So when I'm looking at this now, if I go to the S&P 500, which I'm really gauging to see, on the S&P 500 here, we're playing off of this area here. So we do have a supply zone here on the daily, but our 20 period moving average is not necessarily in here. So we're in between a ping pong stage here. So as the market starts to move up and we start to see Bitcoin start to sell off, are we going to see the S&P 500 turn around? Be really interesting to see. We are at a supply zone within the S&P 500. Will Bitcoin turn the S&P 500 around? It's interesting. Will it turn the NASDAQ around? I don't know. We'll find out. But I think it's very interesting to throw out. We are seeing a huge sentiment of good news coming out in the markets. Now, I've shown the video enough times with Jim Cramer talking about they release news to bring in buyers so that the institutions can sell off, right? As they're selling off the new buyers, right? Then they turn the market back around and push it down. So are they offloaded? We know that Jim Cramer did come out and talk about buy Ethereum, buy Bitcoin. I trust them, right? So
Boria exactly said that. If they
yeah.
say buy, you should sell.
Well, it's
Or
not because
short.
it's all about when to sell, right? It's all, and that's why I'm here. Like I'm trying to teach you guys how to sit there and gauge. If we're at the 4 hour, if we're looking at a 4 hour or a daily, chart, and I'm not seeing a lot of conviction, right, on the downside, but I'm seeing more conviction on when, even though we're going up, I see more seller wigs. Look, my conviction to a market isn't going to be as bullish to go up if I'm not seeing real buyers step in, right? Like I'll be long, but I'm not going to be long heavy, meaning I'm not going to have a lot of contracts or I'm not going to have big leverage on it. It's just simple. It's just going to be a simple, all right, I'm going long. We'll see what happens, right? I'm going to make my daily income, right? So for me, it's just like I run it. But if I see, oh crap, no, like happenstance, let's say that I'm looking at this, right, from yesterday. And this is the thing I want to bring up. Okay, we have seller wick, smaller wick, smaller buy wick, big buy wick. But then we have a bunch of big seller wicks here. Seller wicks, nothing here, right? We see a sell-off. Boom, we have some buy wicks. But as we're moving down on Bitcoin, or excuse me, not Bitcoin, S&P 500, we're not seeing major real buying, but we're seeing more sellers step in, right? And so what happens is they're trying to bring in buyers so that they can sell off on them. Or excuse me, so they can put in their shorts. Okay. And so they need that. So look, you can see there's not a lot of real buying coming in. How far will this go? I don't know. But it's very interesting, right? That we're hitting these levels now that they could. And we're seeing a lot of good news step into the market without real institutional conviction. So personally, when I sit there and see that, I see a rope-a-dope. That's literally what I'm waiting. I'm waiting for a rope-a-dope, right? Where basically they're going across. Rope-a-dope is a Muhammad Ali statement in boxing where he would go around the whole. I believe he'd go around the whole entire thing for like 5 rounds. He would tire out the fight, and the fighter would sit there and just follow him. Boom, boom, try to beat him up, right? He's trying to get points, and then Muhammad Ali would flip it around on them, right? And then boom, like ninth round, eighth round, ninth round, he just starts laying, bah, 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 because he had incredible condition, incredible condition. So it's one of those things. I feel like, um, that's what I feel like. What's happening is that they're taking the traders or the novice traders up to drop them off. Again, I could be wrong, and they could push this thing up all the way up to here. Where we have the 50 period moving average, or excuse me, the 8 period moving average on the monthly, right? But and then sell it off, right? I don't know when. Like it's timing. When are they gonna do it? I don't know, but I feel like that's what they're setting up for, right? I always tell everybody if they're pushing it up in the beginning of the month or into the first week or even the first like let's say next week, right? We see again another rally up on Monday and Tuesday. Most likely we're gonna see a sell-off in the week, right? That's most likely what's gonna happen, right? Because we're in a downtrend in the market. We have higher lows or lower highs and lower lows. This is a monthly chart. So look, we're having lower highs and lower lows. We don't have the best economic news coming out. Again, we have a worldwide slowdown, right? And so you have these things that are, these economic factors. And I'm not a fundamentalist. I didn't go to school for this. I mean, I just read a lot. I try to read as much as I can, and so, but I'm sitting there going, how If everybody's short or not buying, how do they satisfy their clients' needs? Talking hedge funds, talking, they've got to bring in. If I have a bunch of clients and they want to get in short, and they don't want to get in short at the bottom, okay? Well, guess what? I got to figure out a way to push the market up, right? So that I can put my clients in at a good price, so that when the market turns around again, then they're placed. And you can see that happening, that as we're moving up, hence, I see seller wicks as we move up, right? And so you can see that in the wicks. It's very clear. You can't lie to me if I'm sitting there looking at this, right? Going, oh, look, oh, see, boom, boom, boom. So, look, no real buyer wicks, but we see a lot of seller wicks. Look, no real buyer wicks, but seller wicks.
Artificially pumped.
Yes. And this is how the market works. That's how our markets work. You got to get into the psyche of the institution. You got to get into their mind. You got to see how they think, right? How they trick people, how they mess with people.
Survival. What did I say? Institutions. The first idea of institution is the survival of the institution.
Yes. Yes. That's a good point.
I heard in Poland there was a guy that was going to the banks and actually paying for these traders, like these advisors, right? He was actually paying them to give him idea what to do, by which stocks to buy, right? Can you hear me still? Yeah. Hello.
No, go ahead. I was listening to you. I just had to go through and grab a new, as you were saying. So you were saying that somebody goes into the banks.
Yeah, he's paying the banks for the advisors to tell him what to buy as stocks, and he did the exact opposite and started making money.
Yep. Yes, you nailed it to a T. It's not that they're looking to screw people. It's just that, oh, come on. Get all this air, my peoples. It's not that they're trying to screw people. It's just that they need orders. They need orders. Like they have large clients that need to get their orders filled. And the majority of the money that they make is based off of fees. Because fees don't care whether you go up or go down. They make money on it no matter what.
Yeah, they are paid.
Yeah, they are paid. That is their day-to-day income where they can go through. And their investments, and they do have long-term investments, right? And then they do have day traders. These banks have either algorithms or institutional traders that are going through and trading their stuff, right? And so it's more algorithmic based, where we see a lot of the markets when there's a lot of news that are brought up or whatever, right?
Oh, by the way, where did you learn some algorithms? Like, did you bought, book to straight, just single, like book with algorithms only, like where you're learning this stuff, or no?
Well, part of it is simply just paying attention to the market. Like 90% of it is literally has been me just paying attention to the market, and then shouting out Chris Koopman at you can go on Twitter and you can check him out. He's been one of my biggest trading coaches that has taught me, immensely. Like he got my mind to start thinking about this, and I want to shout him out. If you want to go learn from him, go on Twitter. He does cost money. I'm being honest with you, right? If you want to learn from me, you can learn from me. But here's the thing, I'm free. But listen, I want 10 to 20%, not up front, but in the back when you start making money. Just understand that. Like, I'll teach you, but I'm also going to have you sign a contract. Hey, like I'm so confident that you're going to be successful because I make you successful. But I expect, down the road, like, pay the piper, baby. But that's just me down the road. Or you or you trade for my firm, right? And what we got going on and what we have. But I mean, we don't really have a firm right
Hey,
now. I mean, it's just
if listen, if you are teaching people for free,
yeah,
nothing free in this world, right?
yeah,
So it's not like he wouldn't earn this money in the first place.
yeah,
So I think 10-20% of future, like for how long?
yeah. 5 years for me, like for
5 years. Yeah.
for five
So,
years, 5 years. Or if you want to trade, right, and kind of make money with me, and down the road when I open up a fund, if down the road I do that,
mhm,
right, like then that's that will be it, right? And but I expect that because like I personally put over $100,000 into the market through education or through my own money, learning my own lessons, right?
mhm,
Like I personally probably spent over $60,000 in just education alone, and additionally to that, reading books, time. That's not even including time. That's just simply including my grind and learning. Then I've
mhm,
blown probably $40,000 worth of um, money in the market, right?
mhm,
Where I blown up accounts, right? Like just learning and having to learn, like that's real. So, but the thing is everybody has their own journey, everybody has their stuff, right? But once you finally get it, so Chris Koopman is, if you want to check him out, it's Easy Money 2050. He's on Twitter again. That's Easy
in
Money
the
2050.
Easy Money 2050. Can you
Yeah,
post it in chat?
yeah, I'll put it there. Let's look him up. Easy. I'll just pull him up here. He's my dude. He's my homie. He's my home slice here. Um, Chris is he's a cool dude. He'll yell at you. I'm just letting you know. He will absolutely yell at you. He does
Mhm,
not. He does not need your money. He does not need. Like you need to understand. Like if you get in, you're going to be part of a group of guys that we all trade together, right? We all talk and we post our trades and stuff like that. So
mhm,
he'll be brought into that group. If he doesn't like you, he just won't bring you on as a student.
mhm.
If he feels like you're messing with him at all, or you're not, and he gives you a lot of homework. He makes you work for it.
This is
Hold him. He needs to. Keep telling him
maybe
he
we
needs to
could
go.
make like a, a hedge fund in the future. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he'll ever. He's too chill, man. I don't. He's
Ah,
listen. He's late 50s, or in mid. Oh, he might get mad at me saying that. He's early 50s, late 50s. Like I don't know exactly where he's at, but he's hapless. He brings in, you
he
know,
doesn't need
three.
it,
Yeah,
basically.
he makes $3 to $4 million a year. He's happy. He does
Ah,
his
so he
thing.
doesn't have to do it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He doesn't like if he wanted to, he could, but it's all good. Like it's not boom, boom. Look at that, Major League Trading, Joe Price. Anyways, um, but here's the thing though, the market isn't moving in a way. So I find this time and period, I find it
Uh,
very interesting. What's up, bud?
hello.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, Gabriel, can you hear me? You there?
Hello. Hello.
I can hear
Hello.
you. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello?
Uh,
We can hear you,
hello.
buddy.
Hello.
We
Okay.
can hear, but we can hear
Now,
you.
yeah, my internet is dropping sometimes.
I feel you, man. I had issues this morning, man. Like I was trying to get it to go. So finally I just anyways. But besides the point, that's why I was late. So I apologize to everybody. Um, but just to bring this up, right? So we want to be paying attention to the wigs, and we want to be paying attention to whatever trending mechanism you use. I personally like the eight. Some people like the what's it called, the hierarchy candles, and there's a bunch of other like cloud-based systems that you can follow that let you know when
What
it's
are you
trending.
what are you thinking about making your own indicator, or you
I
are
would.
just using moving averages?
I just use moving average. I mean, I've thought about maybe making it. I would like to actually in crypto. I would like to get together with people, and it's people who would want to do this project basically for free, right? We would create a real trading platform for traders, for DeFi
But that it will
traders,
take a
where
lot
you
of
have
money. Yeah.
Yeah. Chart trading, where you can actually have a dome trading. You can actually see real orders coming off the blockchain, going in and going out. I mean, listen, we can do this because we don't even have to pay for the data. I mean, we can get block trading in our system, and if we want to tick trading, we can even sell it for a little bit more, and not even not even being that hard. I mean, block trading is just as good as tick trading, based off of we're talking microseconds, right? So
Yeah, it then depends on which platform you use.
yeah,
Most platforms are using like
block,
percentage of your trades.
yeah,
So uh, yeah, but so you cannot like scrape it, right?
scalp it,
Scalp it.
scalp
Yeah.
it.
So you cannot scalp it in crypto basically, unless
Well, you
uh,
could, but you can't. The thing is, you just gotta know. You gotta understand. Like, okay, for example. All right, so let's move this here right now, right? Because we can sit there. Um, right now, we what are we hitting on Bitcoin? We're hitting that 50 period moving average, right? Like right now, what happened? We hit it. We literally hit it like on the daily. Okay,
mhm,
papazow, right? Once we hit it,
it
what
drops,
did we see? We started
bounce.
seeing a sell off, right? Boom. Okay. So now I know I can. My risk is from here to here, right? And
Mhm,
now I can go through how far will it go? Well, I know that there's no real buyers until we get down to here,
mhm,
at least here. So my first target is going to be right here. And just to throw out DeFi Skeptic, we hit one of your rejection lines, my friend. Whoop, whoop, DeFi Skeptic or Chris. Just want to shout you out. But yeah, we hit one of the things, which is an algorithmic system. Now, I don't really, I mean, I use this more as, not even as confirmation, just more like, oh, that's dope. Okay, boom. But the idea
he
is
developed
this.
this indicator, yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing, but I don't really use it much. I mean, I use it actually. I got into a trade off the S&P 500, and then I went and looked at it, and I was like, oh, it literally was a. And I use it a little bit different in comparison to him,
Mhm.
right?
Ah,
Like
okay.
I use it as um, he used it as a rejection point. Okay, I use it as a support area, right? So for me, like we were coming down into a level, right? So as we're coming down to a level, if we're coming
Mhm.
down and I think, oh, we're starting to trend, right? I feel like this is where we see price then will find support and then push up if the trend is moving up. I never want to go against the trend. The trend is your friend. Okay. So you always want to go
Yeah.
with, right? Look, we have higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, or excuse me, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, higher high, boom, right? Or we're here, high, high, boom, we put in highs. So it's like we're going to bust through this area. And so I'm looking at this area going, are we going to move forward? I think we are. I do see some buyer wick stepping in right here, right? And we are moving up. That is what I'm looking at. That is where my brain's seeing, right? So for me,
Mhm.
I want to get in on the trend, right? Like, and I'm a scalper in a sense, right? Like I maybe 30 minutes, an hour, right? I go in, I make my
Yeah, but
money.
what I meant, yeah, like the scalping in the, quantum,
Oh, quantum levels.
quantum
Yeah,
trading. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
on, a really
High
small.
frequency. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
high frequency
So
trading.
that one
Yeah,
in a half an hour, yeah, that you
yeah, yeah,
can do. Yeah, yeah, but
yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
through scalping on crypto, I think, you know,
Well,
uh,
let's look it up. Well, I mean, we
because,
can sit there and play because they don't just sit there and play these micro. They trade off the macro as well. They very much are looking at the macro, and they have math that works, right? So you can sit there based off of implied volatility or whatever they're using, right? But they take advantage of the small inefficiencies of the market, and then they go through and they actually trade. So for me, when I'm looking at this market, right, like like mentally, I'm still long until we go below this area.
mhm,
Okay,
okay,
like I still
because it's
looking.
climbing, steadily climbing up.
Yeah, it's still climbing up, right? So for me, I sit there and I go, well, I mean, until it proves me that I'm wrong, like, right? Like you need to go long.
Mhm.
There you go. But yeah, I'm using this as an example. This is not what I would follow, right? But you can see here that this would be the break of the neck, right? Boom, we'll come down, pause. We might put in a lower high right here in this level, and then see a breakthrough. This is what you call a typical head and shoulders, right? But in the same sense, I'm
What? Shieldness? What?
this is called what you call a head and shoulders, the typical
Ah,
pattern.
head and shoulders. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
head and shoulder. Yeah, this would be the shoulder. This would be the head, and then we'd put in a lower high that would flow about right at this level. Like this is where it would pretty much come up to, and then we'll see it drop back down. But the thing is if I'm not seeing any sellers step in and I'm seeing buyers at these levels, most likely that head and shoulders that they're creating is going to be used to trick you, to get you to short so they can buy it. So this is important to be paying attention to, right? And or if you're seeing, so I want to shout out Chris here because he was the primary one that did teach me a lot of this stuff. So I want to make sure I shout him out because he's my man. If I start to have struggles in my training, I reach out to him and I say something's messing up with my head, and then he'll go through and he'll slap me around a little, yell at me, dude, look, you're going
Hello,
short when
hello.
it's not even trading. And
Ah,
so,
I dropped for like 30 seconds.
oh, you're good, you're good. But it's fun, man. Last night I was looking at the charts until like 4 o'clock. I think it was like 3 o'clock, and just checking some stuff out because I was checking, some correlation stuff
Mhm.
and some arbitrage things that I'm thinking about getting into. And so I'm trying to understand fully the arbitrage of market inflections, right? That move up and down, and you
Mhm.
can, you can make a lot of money. So I'm trying to understand that stuff. And so I literally,
How do
I
you
got,
learn about
huh?
something like this? How do you learn about something like this?
Well, partly there's a lot of books on it, but in DeFi, there's nothing. You got to figure it out because there's no books on it,
So
right?
good. So basically,
Google, um,
knowledge monopoly.
say again,
That's good. Knowledge monopoly, basically.
knowledge
If you will
monopoly.
figure it out,
Oh yes,
yeah, you will have knowledge monopoly.
yes, and I will. Like it's that's the thing. It's not a. I'm not like, and I think everybody knows. Like I don't. I share knowledge, but I also make you work for it, right? Because here's the thing: I can just feed you some knowledge. That doesn't do nothing to you. My goal is to teach you what's A plus B equals C, what C plus D equals F,
Mhm.
right? And if I can teach you the pattern, then you can go through and go, well, if I take A and minus C, I should get B, right? If I can teach you way the market really kind of works, then you'll come back to me and you'll be like, Pedro, look at this. My goal is to build free thinkers in trading so that you can see something that
And
I don't see, and I'll see something that you don't see, and we
and
both
with
come together, and it just starts to do the synergetic
that,
effect, right? The Mr. Beast tells a story of when he first got going in crypto, or excuse me, not crypto, in YouTube. And one of the biggest things he talks about, there was 4 guys, and he basically had to make money, right? He basically told his mom that he was going to college. Long story short, he wasn't. He was focusing on his channel, right? And so we got together 4 guys who also understood the power of YouTube. And so those, I think it's 4 or 5 guys, I forget exactly what the number was, but they all failed together. And so what would happen is Mr. Beast would try something, this other guy and these other 3 guys would try something, and it'd be something different. And so they would come back together and they would talk and communicate, and then they would learn. So then they would go to the next level. And so Mr. Beast
I saw
only
the
need,
video. Yeah, so I
huh?
saw the video. Yeah.
Say that again?
Continue, but I think I saw it. Yeah, but
Yeah.
basically, he learned after he tried everything, every possible strategy, and now he knows
Yes.
what works and what doesn't.
Yes. And that's the biggest thing, right? To be able to sit there and understand that, right? And so that's where, and I wouldn't say he knows every strategy because he's still learning, Like he finally realized, wow, like one of the most spoken languages is Spanish and Chinese, right? So
Mhm.
why isn't his language in Chinese? Why isn't his language in Spanish? Right? So now he's
Yeah.
creating, other. So he's still learning. Like there's never,
Yeah, you cannot stop learning. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's just little areas. So but like I said, the market was playing off of that 15 period moving average. Boom. Now that we've come down, we've tested the 15 period. We do see that we're about to have a crossover here on Bitcoin. So we're starting to see a drop. So we're about to see, what are we seeing? Are we seeing more buyers or seller wicks step in? Right now, we did see, as we were moving up, more seller wicks stepping in, right? So as we are looking at that, then we can gauge, are they putting more seller wicks in now to continue it down? No, they're not. Are they putting in buyer wicks? No, not really. Um, so sorry, I just had somebody hit me up, another guest. Um, with that, you can sit there and see that the markets right here aren't necessarily given a direction, right? Like we're not like we have a buyer wick, but no real seller wicks. We have some seller wicks, no real buyer wicks right at the top. So what are they doing? I don't know. I'm gonna wait for a trend. I am more bearish because I feel like the real buyers are sitting down at these levels here, right? And so I'm not gonna go. Like I already did my trade for this morning, right? Boom. And so I'm done. I wanna wait to see when the market really starts to trend. Here I knew I had a potential strong trend.
You are more
So
bearish
boom.
because you think what?
I'm I'm more bearish now because of these seller wicks here. These seller wicks on the smaller time frames. In addition to that, I'm bearish because I feel like it's going to come back down to these levels down in here or down in this level here. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, we'll find out what happens. But again, this is not investment advice. This is my disclaimer here. Make sure you're paying attention. Do your own research. I am not an advisor, nor is any of my guests or associates that come onto the show. So but for me, it's like I look at that and I'm going, all right, what I do expect is if it does continue down, I know I will see
Oh,
some type of retracement.
sorry, sorry, I dropped for a minute.
It's okay. Go ahead. Sorry. So if this does continue down, I do expect us to see then some type of retracement back up into my trending device. So whatever trending device you use, make sure you always get in on that retracement and have some type of whether it's a few candlestick patterns, whether it is you use alpha charts, right? Based in I don't everybody uses something different. But whatever is your indication that lets you know that we're now starting to see from the retracement up to go to continue the next leg down or the next leg up, right? If we come into this level, man, I start to see this comes up all the way up here, right? Even goes green. And then I start to see this baby start to show real strength where it comes back down first. And then I start to see it go back up. Man, that's putting in some buyer wicks. So I'm looking to now switch my bias where to be the. Remember, I said we're not really putting any real supply wicks up in here, right? When we were coming up, it was telling us, okay, they're putting in their seller wicks to drop it down. So I knew that this was most likely not going to continue. And then when they put in the right here, which was this was a tell of no buyer wick here. Yeah, this baby was coming down. Then we came in, hit that 50 period moving average on the weekly, and then or daily, I think. Forgive me, my peoples. I'm sorry. What was it? Uh, yeah, it was the daily 50. Like to me, that's screaming to me. Yeah, it wants to turn around. They're looking to turn around and make it easy for them, so they don't got to deal with any real buyers or sellers. So for me, as I was looking at this, I can clearly see that they wanted to turn it around and continue it down, right? At least down to this area here. Then we also know that we also have that 200 period moving average sitting at these levels here, down in here, right? So we want to make sure that we're looking at that. So let me move this here. So these are small little details in the market that we can be paying attention to and seeing what's going on, right? The biggest thing is this, is that I do see that there is more seller wicks than buyer wicks throughout this week as the market was moving up. So for me, I hate to say it, but I'm bearish. And people say, you're a bear. It's not that I'm a bear. It's just to me, and the way I read the charts, I think it wants to go down. So
Mhm.
I want to go down with it, you know? So,
And you can manage. Yeah.
so that's it in a nutshell. Real quick, let's go ahead real quick and go over some of these charts here. So we're seeing here a sideways market, my friend, here within Ethereum, right? The last few days, we've kind of gone sideways here. Again, between our area here, right? Like I said, here's the bottom part where once we cross here, we should see a rally back up into this level. I'll probably bring this down into here real quick. Boom. Um, but from here into here, we're just sideways. So be paying attention to that that 20 period moving average. You can see, like I've said yesterday, that we've been messing with it. Also, that 8 period moving average is below us, as we know. So it's kind of going to be doing some ping pong in here, guys, on the daily. On the 4 hour, it's ugly mess. You can see here, it's just a sideways pattern. So that's what I'm looking at here. Just playing this on the side. If we go to B&B, which is a different story, um, completely different story. B&B, look at, she's a tough, or he's a tough dude. Like, she's a tough dude. Like, I sit there, man, and look at him, man. Like, came off, tap that 50 period movement. Like I said yesterday, I was very bullish on this pushing through this 50 period moving average. I really saw it just because the way we're seeing more buyers stepping in here, but as well as sellers. So there is a bit of a warrior, and so they're pushing through. So it's really interesting to see this market continue up. Again, I want to shout out, pay attention to this supply zone when we're coming into it, as well as that 200 period moving average. And on the monthly here, we do have that 50 period or that 8 period moving average that we've been bouncing off of since um, early April. So, like you can see here, guys, that this is a strong beastly one here. So be paying it,
So
be
this is
paying
basically
attention,
resistance. Yes.
huh?
This eight moving average is a resistance.
Yeah, this would be the resistance, and it's coming down also into our supply zone as well. So that's a definitely confirmation to be saying most likely it's going to bounce and see a sell off in at least down into our buy wicks here, right? I'm bringing in a lower high, or excuse me, not lower. It will be a higher high, but it would bring a higher low as well. So I see it come up like here, like I don't see a big buyer wick here, right? And so to me, I'd wanted to see this come down, tap this area here, and then rally up. So they're put in a position to be able to come back down and then push it up. Because it's the way institutions work. Why? Because they do what? They have clients, and they want to put their clients at better positions. And if they shoot the market all of their clients' position right here, what happens? It pushes the market way up, and then they get their clients at worse fills. So they go through, or if they're their own positions, right? They want to buy in at a low point, right, as it's moving or continuing up.
Mm.
So yeah, it's really interesting to see this stuff. So that's what I see with BNB. As we move forward here, let's check out XRP. XRP is fun here. It is again showing strength. We did finally push through this 50 period moving average, or excuse me, not 50, 80, the 200 period moving average, as well as that the 200 period moving average, as well as finding support there. My biggest thing is this: is that I think that's a weekly or a monthly. Yeah, so we have the weekly 200 period moving average as well sitting here. Now it's not really making much of a difference there, except the fact is that it's there, and you need to pay attention to it because it's there. It's like if you have a giant in the room, right? You need to acknowledge there's a giant in the room, right? Is it acting crazy? No, but is it there? Yes. Can it act crazy? Yes. So pay attention. That's that 200 period moving average. But more importantly, we also have a bigger giant stepping in, which is the 8 period moving average coming down and tapping the tip, as well as the 50 period moving average as well, sitting right here. So again, XRP, it has been really beautiful. But like I said, we do have a lot of supply here, right? So this is what it's fighting right now. If we start to close here, awesome. If we put if we close on the weekly above here and we start to see it really continue, yes, right, that's good. So it's another attempt, right, to come up to it and to see, are we going to be able to push through this? I personally think it might. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the fact is that it pierced it and that it did come through. The only issue is we have that 8 period moving average right here. So on the monthly chart here. So these are just some of the resistance that we have coming in. On the smaller time frames, when I'm looking at this, make sure that you're paying attention to, if you're going to be day trading this, where the buyer and seller wicks step in it, right? Look, we have seller wicks stepping up, moving the market, but do we have really buyer wicks? No. So we know once we hit these levels of resistance and we see a seller big wick with a like a hello, we're going down, right? That's what this was. Okay, right? It's a bearish signal. So you see that and you
I
go,
think you are
okay,
muted. Oh,
what?
oh no. Yeah. Okay, my internet dropped.
Oh,
Okay.
that's all right.
I saw you move talking, but I couldn't hear it.
Uh, so I mean, you can go back and look at this, but you can see here on XRP, right, today, right, that it did. They were putting in their seller wicks as they were raising it up. So you know you're gonna have you knew they were gonna have some type of sell off, right? At least down to where the wicks would be, which is around here. So that's where we're seeing. Now again, we're seeing a rise, but what are we seeing? No buyer wicks, but we're seeing more seller wicks, right? So we should see again another sell off, which hence you did. Okay. So how far is it going to go? I don't know. We are putting in a lower high right here. So then it should, if this trade continues, right, to put this lower high, we're going to come down to other areas where there would be buyers, which would be down in this area here. Excuse me. Apologize for coughing in your guys' ear. So that is what we're seeing with XRP. Let's check out our. There we go. 1 second, my friends. I believe it's ADA here is what we're going to check out next. So, and you know what? I need to create one of these so that I can get, like how you said, just the top 10. I can just go, I can just click, 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 right?
Click one after another. Yeah.
Yeah. Boop, 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 boop. So we can see here, guys, again, that 8 period moving average has been holding it down, right? It's the first real test that we're coming into it after the sell-off, right? And so this is that daily that we had from, like I think it was 2 weeks ago, we had a big sell-off, right? Or actually last week, that big sell-off on ADA. Now we're coming down. Again, we came and tested. I thought we were going to push through our area here. We did slightly. And basically, they just stopped out all the sellers or all the buyers. They literally stopped them out and then rallied it. I feel bad for them. Yeah, that's why I became a confirmation trader, because those buying. I have friends of mine who literally like put their stop or they'll enter here, put their stop right below here, and you can see that they come and they tap them out, and then they move it up, and you're just like, man, they just stole all their money, right? But
Yeah.
you feel bad for them, right? That's why I'm like a confirmation trader. That was the thing I used to be. I used to be a set it and forget it trader. I just realized like you don't. They just mess with you. So boom. But you saw them down in here in ADA, right? Like you can see. We can pull this up here. Actually, let's pull the 15-minute or 30-minute. That actually might be easier. Um, you can see here that they're putting their buys in. right? But they want to drop it even further. So there's no real buyers here, but they're putting the buys in. They come in, boom. Here's a fatty wick. Boom. This is what I love to see. Boom. Fatty wick. Big buys. Ding, 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 ding. As it's moving up, they come back, tap more into the buys. Now they continue it up. Boom. But again, what do we see? We actually see more seller wicks, right? Seller wicks, some buyer wicks, but we see more seller wicks, right? So, like as we continue moving up, we're not seeing a lot of buy wicks. So that then should give,
Artificially pumping.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So, but if the market's moving up, what do?
You follow the trend.
You follow the trend, exactly. Pay attention to your trending mechanism, right? And wait for them to confirm the trend. All right, boom. Next, let's check out. I didn't go into the macros. Yeah, so we're hitting that again. We're hitting that 20 period moving average. It or not 20, that 8 period moving average on that daily, guys. Will it hold? I think it will because we didn't really put a lot of buyer weights down at the bottom. But if it does not, they want to continue it up. Be looking up into our areas here, like because we do have higher time weekly 8 period as well as seller wicks up at these levels here, guys. So just be mindful of that. And I'm really looking at this wick here. I can see them blowing through this area here. The only reason why I put this here was simply because of that 8 period moving average is sitting in our zone on that daily. So you can sit there and play it. We'll see what happens. If the market starts to really move, I'll come back on and we can talk about that. So the next one we want to bring up is good old EBB XRP Solana. Good old soul sister, soul sister, soul sister. You know, as you can tell, guys, I'm gonna be the next star on American Idol. You know, so go vote for me. You don't think I could become American Idol singer? Is that what you're
I
telling
think you would have to work on it.
me? Thank you for being gentle with my ego. uh, so we have the 8 period moving average that we did come through. So I can see if we do come up, we do have a big wick right here. I can see us playing off of this. It can even go back even up to the 36 mark. Again, though, as I'm looking here, we see bigger seller wicks over the smaller buyer wicks. So to me, this is not a good sign. First part of the month, they're going up. You know, it just screams to me that they want to drop it. So that's in a nutshell on that weekly. The daily, again, we're hitting that 50 period moving average. We are pushing through that, which is a good thing. But at this level here, you have we have a bunch of seller wicks here, and the 50, or excuse me, the 89 and 100 is above us in our upper level here, as well as you have that 20. So if we do see a rally here, understand that we do have seller wicks coming in. If we do have a sell off, be mindful of our buy area here, right? And then if we continue down from here, be ready for it to come back down and to fall through that 29 area. I still think we're going to go lower um, on Sol. I still feel that $18 area is a well put area. But if we start to put real higher highs and higher lows here, which we are not, then you know you need to change your bias to go long versus wanting to short. Next, let's
Bitcoin,
check. Go ahead.
Bitcoin is doing exactly as you said. It's going down to the
Yeah,
lower levels.
yeah, like
Yeah, of course it does.
it's like um, the biggest thing, and like I said, just to bring up because that 50 period moving average, if and it probably will start bringing the rest of crypto down into the levels. That's why I always go over those. But let's check out Dot or Dogecoin. Because Dogecoin, I like. Oh, look at it! Like, and I don't. I have some Doge. You know, I don't have a ton. I still think Doge is going to come down to these levels. But it blew through this area, so this is what's blowing me away. Um, So that's impressive. Now these have been used, these areas here. I probably should be starting to remove this stuff here. So remove. Um, and let's check out that weekly. So we definitely are finding some support on this weekly. Like I've been saying, guys, there's a war going on here between the buyers and sellers. We have just as much buyers as we are having sellers here. So it's really interesting to sit there. Like I've said, guys, I have a hard time kind of gauging which way this really wants to go. Are we going to go up? My high mark here is, like I said, up in these levels. Right, we have that 8 and we have that 20 period where we might have some ping pong, as well as that monthly 50 period moving average is a real zone. So we need to make sure we are mindful of that. But overall, this is where we're sitting. So yeah, be paying attention to this level, guys. This stuff is real. What is this? This is my 200 period moving average on the week. Yeah, so this is the weekly. If we do see a rally, right, these are going to be our resistance levels right here between the 6-8 to the 6-7 area, as well as that 7-5 area here, guys. These are just our ping pong areas here that you can see market going boom, 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 or sell off, boom, sell off, or rally to these areas, then a sell off to either a higher low or a lower low, right? Again, we don't know which way it's going. There is a battle going on. Somebody's buying and selling. There's a lot of buying and selling kind of going on here for a directional move. So for me, I'm sitting there going like, what do we do? That's how I'm looking at it. So the other question that I have is my internet, am I a 1080p for you guys? 720? Can you guys see me clearly? Let me know in the comment section here if my voice is messed up, or if I'm having issues with visual. Because to me, when I go through and I look at my stuff, it looks fairly clean on mine. But somebody did hit me up saying I need to actually invest into a better camera and invest into a better headset. So let me know in the comment section. That'd be great. Let's jump in here real quick. Next, let's go right into the dot. Good old dotty dot. Um, again, we are seeing us still just kind of, it's just kind of chilling here. We're seeing more sellers step in here as we're moving. Um, the biggest thing is this, is though there's not really any buyers. So again, this is a sideways market. I don't know what to tell you, except that if you're going to look to trade the daily, then make sure that you're understanding which way is it trending and where the buyers and sellers coming in, so you know where your support and resistance here. It looks like the volume is still fairly thin here on this, so being mindful of that, guys. That if you go to buy a lot off of this, that it's still kind of thinly traded here. It's still a lot, but it's not like it's Bitcoin or Ethereum, right? So now let's check out again. Good old fashioned Matic. Good old Matic. Where's Matic? Dude, I need to just literally go through right and set it up. Every time I have to sit there and look for it, I think about what you're saying. I'm like, man, I need to do it. Like today, man, I'm just gonna set it up. If I don't have it done by tomorrow, you get full right, carte blanche to yell at me. All right. All right, so let's check out the daily chart here. So, like I said, it's following Bitcoin. We are hitting that the daily supply zones here. We didn't really put much of a demand wick into the evening, so to me that doesn't bode well for the longs of continuing. We are hitting that 8 period moving average. Are we going in, stopping people out, and then selling off down to the lows here, or are we putting in and putting in a lower high, or are we going to continue up and follow into these levels? I personally think, based off of the fact is that we did not have a real buyer wick down in these levels, that it's going to put in a lower high. Here is our zone here. So for me, I sit there and I'm more just bearish because we don't have any real buyer weight setting here. So for me, this came in, stopped people out, and now they're selling people off. Um, which then you want to go to a smaller time frame, and you want to see where maybe the buyers might step in if we do sell off. This is right here where we might see a convergence. We are seeing a convergence of SMAs, or you most likely will have a convergence of some type of, where it's kind of, this is going to be a support area because we do have a buyer wicks here. But I do find that that is more of an intermittent part where we'll basically bounce, put a lower high in, and then continue it down into our lower levels here at the 77 mark. And then from there, most likely come down and trade into here before if we does continue up. But it's something to be paying attention to. That is Matic. Let's check out that daily, or not the daily, but the 5 minute. What are our buyers and seller wicks communicating to us? Boom. No buyers. No buyers, but sellers. All right, we got some buyers. We got some buyers here, but no buyers. So we come back, right? So that's why I would say I'm more bearish down into our levels. Plus, Bitcoin is selling off. So I am definitely more apt to say that we'll probably come down into this area here, what we're talking about. So that's it. One last one. Shibby. Where is our Shib? Shibbity Shib Shib. Shib is playing with people's emotions here. I feel bad for Zach Humphries because I know, like, I watch his videos, and so I sit there and he's like, "Oh, Shib is." He's always reporting on Shib. Any news that comes out about Shib, he is on it, man, like a pit bull chasing a meat truck, just going for it. He's on it, bro. He is on it. No joke. And so, but I say that because right here, as you can see, though, is like, again, there is this battle. We came up, tapped our upper area here. We're seeing a sell off here. We're also seeing that weekly 20 period step in, holding it down, and as well as the, oh, weird. Oh, I thought that, okay. We still got that weekly, though, 8 sitting right here, plus that 20 period moving average here. So it is one of these things that we're just in the sideways area, guys. Just, that's how it is. Are we going to finally push through that line there? I do highly doubt it, just because I don't really see, like, look. Oh, I guess there's some buyers, but I want to see buyers step in, right? Continued push of buyers. But again, there's some war going on here between Shib. Like, Shib is really, it's warm, man. There are people buying and selling this baby like it's hotcakes. Like it's, I mean, like it's like fresh off the grill, man. Like, give me the hot dog, man. Throw some cheese up on that burger, man. Put it in my mouth, bro. Like, it is one of those things that is like, but it's good. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're fighting, man. They're fighting. So we'll see what happens. One thing to pay attention to, as you can see, there are no seller wicks here. We want to go to a higher time, see if we can see anything. Yeah, so look, they're pushing it down to push it back up to again. So let's check out Bitcoin here as we finish off.
It's going down.
Yeah. Nicely. But the biggest thing is this: where are they creating a platform for them to turn this around and push it back up? Right. That's the thing you be paying attention. Yes, you might have a trade go your way, which is awesome, but you can as easily lose that money, right? Quickly. So understanding that's more important, right? So if they decide, are they putting in seller wicks or buyer wicks? Well,
more seller wicks.
Yeah, some seller wicks, boom, seller wicks, but there's a seller wick, yep, I agree, seller wick, but are they putting in buyer wicks? Kinda.
On the bottom.
Right? Huh?
Bottom,
yeah, on the bottom, right. Bottom. Right here. But my real, like I said, my real target.
I mean, partially started the buying wicks show on the bottom of now, like
Yes.
5 minutes.
Yeah. So I'm looking at that 5-15 minute area to see. Remember how I told you I was all excited about when I saw that 15-minute wick right here, right? Like, this is something what I want to see. Like, boom, buyer wick, whoop,
Mm.
whoop. And additionally to that,
Jumping.
no seller wick, right? Like, no seller says to me, it's going to at least go up to here. So I can play this from here or find support here on that 8. And from here to here, have a very small risk of maybe 1 cent, 2 cents, right? Or maybe 1 or 2, maybe 10, 20 cents right here, and play from 20 cents at least to, what is that? 100 points or not 100 points, excuse me, 40, 60, 70, 70, 80 points, right? And I'm only risking a couple, 10, 20 cents all day, every day, all day, every day, right? Like that risk to reward ratio. Oh, dude, every day, boom, take my money, right? So that's what I'm looking for. What I am looking for. Um, Boom. Nice risk to reward ratio, defense, see what's going on, right? So we'll see what happens. But that's it in a nutshell, guys. Thanks for listening again today. Thank you so much, Gabriel, for coming on today. I appreciate you, man. It's just not me talking. Hopefully you like some of my jokes. We're keeping it fun for people. And as we're talking about the markets, see, coming back into the buyer areas here, guys. This is where we pay attention to,
Mhm.
right? Boom. What's it telling me, right? It's not good. Just didn't give me, and we have a 15 buyer week, so which is good. So, but it's probably going to hit this area here, and then see. So it always come back, get the retracement, and then see a sell off again. So that's it in a nutshell, guys. Thank you so much for coming in today. Any final words you want to say, my friend, to people as we sign off?
Uh, Listen to Pedro.
So, again, disclaimer here. This is no investment advice. This information provided in this video and website and live stream does not constitute as investment advice, financial advice, trading advice. Again, this is not financial advice, but it's for entertainment and social educational purposes only. So that's in a nutshell, guys. Thank you so much. Be safe out there. If the market is going down, what do? You
Go
get
with the
out
trend.
or go short. If the market is going up, what do?
Get in or long.
Exactly. All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you guys and have a blessed day. Thank you so much. Thanks, Gabriel. I'll talk to you soon, bud.
See you.